Hi, I'm Sam Tardio and I'm campaigning for the City Council. So everyone is abuzz about the news of the city's decision to disallow the permanent base adjustment. Some people are actually happy about this. Can you imagine that? They're happy that the City Council is doing everything possible to stop them from having a voice in our government. If you're celebrating, enjoy your moment because it isn't going to last long. Here's what's happening. The city clerk's office has determined that when there is a mixture of signatures from Coconino County and Yavapai County on the same signature page, that the larger percentage will nullify the smaller percentage. So if a signature sheet has 15 signatures and 8 are from the one county and the smaller percentage of 7 from the other county, they're nullified. They're basing their action on a sentence from one section of Arizona statute and trying to apply it in a different section of the law. This is not a state nor a county decision. It is a city decision. Between Coconino and Yavapai counties, they disallowed 4 signatures. The city clerk's office has disallowed 152 signatures. Without going into the numbers, this action brings a total to under the amount of signatures required to get the measure on the ballot. Now, what's oddly strange is that there is a candidate presently campaigning who submitted barely enough signatures to qualify his candidacy. When checking his signatures, some even from Cottonwood, it turns out he is actually short of meeting the required amount of valid signatures to qualify for campaigning. When this was brought to the attention of the office of the city clerk, their response was that it's not their responsibility to do anything about it and that someone has to challenge it, which costs about $6,000. If it's not their responsibility to check signatures, then why did the clerk's office check through 639 signatures to disallow the PBA from the ballot? Was it just a whim, even though it wasn't their responsibility? Who challenged the petition? Who paid for it? I imagine someone higher up in the administration is behind this, especially since the notice was given the morning of the last day it could have been challenged. I think we're playing dirty politics here. What do you think? Of course we are. And even my Chicago background is amazed at the boldness of what is happening here in Sedona. First, the city council refused to learn about or consider the PBA measure when Councilman Curavan introduced it to them back in April. Then later in June, they again refused to add it to the ballot, even though it was handed to them ready to go. Instead of offering an alternate safety plan to the citizens, they're doing everything possible to avoid it, and now they're even attempting to force it off the ballot. Don't you wonder why the city council is so adamant to not having the PBA on the ballot? Why don't they want the people to have the option? What are they afraid of or trying to avoid? They have been lying since the beginning about how anything less than home rule will hurt the nonprofits, service contracts, and even the police. Their specialty has and still is scare tactics. That's all they have because the facts support PBA fulfilling every financial obligation. You see, lying to your face is not a problem for them. Come hell or high water, they don't want any restrictions on their spending, and they definitely don't want any oversight by what they consider any run-of-the-mill citizen. They're willing to go as many extra miles as it takes to stop the PBA at any cost. Of course, that cost is coming out of our pocket. They don't want you involved. They only want free reign, and they are fighting tooth and nail to prevent the slightest opportunity of any oversight of any kind for any financial decision they make. Right now, if the PBA was in place, we could stop the uptown construction, which is literally going to destroy it. It's going to hurt the businesses, not just during the construction period, but also for the long term because it will not be tourist friendly. It will dramatically change the face of uptown, and this bastardization will not in any manner improve the traffic flow as they supposed goal of it is supposed to do. Common sense shows their failure is imminent, but hey, why should they start using common sense now? Since we can't stop it, it's full steam ahead to spend about $12 million to screw the people, and they don't care who likes it. I can't even fathom their point of proceeding with it. It's like they're going to show their power to do what they want to do, even if it offends you. Maybe especially if it offends you. Obviously, to this city council, we don't matter. That's right, you don't matter. None of us matter unless you're part of the gravy train. It's as simple as that. 2 things need to be done. First, when the election comes, we must be sure to eliminate every incumbent. Let me tell you, if you think things are bad now, if they get reelected, it'll be like handing over your wallet or purse and bending over. You can write off any future prosperity for this city. Sedona will move up the list, topped by Myrtle Beach, the most politically corrupt city in the nation. Second thing is we still need to vote no on home rule. Let me explain. Even if we were stuck with a $24 million cap, which we won't be, there is still an override that could bring that number up to $36 million or even $38 million to be sure we're covered for all of our expenses, including every nonprofit or service contract. But that situation isn't going to happen. Thursday morning, a lawsuit will be filed in Prescott suing the city of Sedona for its action. The city will lose the suit because precedence has been established that the state will not allow the city to disenfranchise citizens from their right to vote. Mark my words, the city is a loser in this battle. The real losers, at least up to now, are the citizens of Sedona that are stuck with a city council that outright lies and now are trying their very best to push us out of the picture. Their actions have made it clear they don't want you involved in your own government. Their lack of communication and transparency proves they don't want you to know what they're doing. Their gifting of $2.5 million a year to the chamber, second only after Phoenix, is something they defend to this day. As it is, there's no watchdog over them, and worse yet, no one can stop them when they operate under home rule. Their path is certainly not the way to a better Sedona. They're speeding down the low road of deceit, and it's a sure path to the city's self-destruction. If you were thinking about voting yes on home rule before this happened, you have to ask yourself, is this the type of government you want to support? To spend your money, one that has no moral standards, with continual lying to their constituents, one that continues planning on a project that will hurt Sedona, one that doesn't think you deserve a vote? I think it's obvious to say that this is all about interrupting the early ballot voting. They saw the writing on the wall that the PBA was going to pass, so they had to do something to stop it. Even if they couldn't stop it, they might slow it down with the hopes of affecting the early ballot voting. But the little game may cost the taxpayers a lot of money. If they lose this case, which they will, not only do we, the taxpayers, have to pay for our expenses, but we, the losers of the lawsuit, will have to pay for the opposing side's legal fees as well. We're talking thousands of dollars. But why should they care? It's no problem when you spend someone else's money. Keep in mind, with people like this in control, you could be next on their list getting pushed aside because obviously it's all about them and not you. If you were planning on voting no, you can do as I'm doing. I'm sending in my no vote because I have every confidence that there is no risk of anything being cut, regardless of what the city and the chamber says. Here's the thing, nothing's changed. The expenditures will be covered, and the council will be repeating the same scare tactics they've been spreading for months, only now it will be with even more vengeance. The PBA will be on the November ballot. If you're feeling apprehensive, then hold on to that early ballot for a few days because this will be settled long before the election. But I remind you, the override protects us no matter the result. We can't let these people tell us we don't matter, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're flipping us off and smiling about it. Remember, vote them out and put a spending cap on the next city council so we have oversight curtailing future irresponsible spending. I don't care how good our next city council is. Voting no is not a hindrance to the council. It's our only protection from another runaway council. Thank you.